Hello everyone, and welcome to my Young and the Restless official 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Michael Baldwin had always believed that love was the greatest gamble of all, but on this unforgettable night, one dedicated entirely to celebrating 2 decades of devotion, betrayal, redemption, laughter, loss, and the kind of passion that could only survive in Genoa City, he was prepared to ante up more than he ever had before, making a bold move that left Lauren Fenmore Baldwin breathless, shaken, and overwhelmed by the force of the love they had built from the ashes of chaos, because this wasn't just any anniversary, it was their 20th, a milestone almost unheard of in the turbulent world of the young and the restless, a world where marriages collapsed under the weight of secrets, families imploded, and lovers turned into enemies overnight, yet somehow, miraculously, Michael and Lauren were still standing, still choosing each other, still fighting for the bond that had once shocked Genoa City and then slowly, beautifully, became one of its most enduring romances. As Tuesday's standalone episode opened, the lights dimmed and the camera swept across the Chancellor Park fountain glimmering under the night sky, viewers were immediately pulled into a nostalgia-soaked journey, a celebration crafted with reverence, a tribute to 2 characters who had clawed their way through addiction, trauma, infidelity scares, near-death encounters, and the shadows of their twisted pasts to build something worth fighting for. Lauren stepped through the door of the Grand Phoenix's rooftop suite, expecting perhaps champagne or a simple dinner, but what she found instead was a meticulously recreated memory she hadn't thought about in years, a blackjack table, sleek, emerald, glowing under golden lights, complete with chips, cards, and a dealer's rake. A perfect replica of the moment Michael had proposed to her all those years ago when he'd surprised her with a casino-themed proposal to symbolize the gamble he was taking. Not just on marriage, but on becoming a man worthy of her love. Lauren froze, her breath catching, her eyes shimmering with curiosity, nostalgia, and a touch of trepidation, because when Michael went this big, this theatrical, it always meant something deeper was brewing beneath the surface. Michael emerged from the shadows, dressed in a black suit reminiscent of the one he wore the night he knelt before her with a trembling voice and a diamond ring, and the instant she saw him, saw the tenderness in his expression, her heart squeezed in her chest. "Welcome back to our table, Mrs. Baldwin," he murmured, holding out a deck of cards for her to cut, and Lauren laughed, emotional already, wiping at the corner of her eye as she joined him at the table. With every card flipped, Michael revealed not a hand of blackjack, but a series of messages, handwritten notes attached to each card, each one a memory, a confession, or a promise carved straight from the heart. The Queen of Hearts, you saved me from myself. The 7 of Diamonds, you gave me a family when I didn't believe I deserved one. The Ace of Spades, you are my greatest victory. With each card, flashbacks filled the screen, Lauren singing at the blue note, Michael spiraling during his darkest years, their wedding day, their struggles, their triumphs, their fierce loyalty to each other, reminding fans why this couple had become one of YNR's most treasured pairings. But as the emotional montage unfolded, an undercurrent of tension hummed, something darker lingering unspoken between the lines. Because as much as this episode celebrated love, no Baldwin Fenmore milestone ever came without the shadows of danger. Lauren sat across from Michael, her eyes softening as she realized just how deeply, how desperately, he had poured his soul into this gesture, but she also sensed, instinctively, as only a woman who had survived kidnappings, stalkers, and explosive betrayals could, that something wasn't quite right. She voiced it gently, asking him what he wasn't telling her, but Michael only smiled, brushing a hand over hers. "Tonight is about us," he whispered, though the haunted flicker in his eyes said otherwise. The camera lingered on his expression just a beat too long, foreshadowing the storm brewing beyond this glittering celebration. Because while this night honored their love, it also served as a stark reminder of how far Michael had come, and how far he could still fall. Christian LeBlanc's recent interview echoed in fans' minds, the darkness in Michael's past, the violence he was capable of, the way losing Lauren, or even fearing he might lose her, could snap something inside him. And as Lauren leaned in and kissed him, thanking him for reminding her why she had said yes 20 years ago, viewers couldn't help but feel that the very thing she adored about him, the intensity of his devotion, might one day destroy them. But for this moment, under the soft lights and the glitter of gold, their love glowed. Michael led her through more surprises, a slideshow of unseen wedding photos, a meticulously edited reel of their best moments, with snarky commentary from both actors woven between scenes, adding humor and charm to the emotional heaviness, and a champagne toast to the great gamble that had paid off. Lauren was radiant, moved beyond measure, her voice trembling as she told Michael that no matter how many storms they faced, no matter the shadows that hovered or the threats their family histories carried, they always found their way back to each other. "We don't do this alone," she said, echoing the actor commentary, "we've built something real." And Michael, ever the romantic beneath his lawyer's armor, pulled her into a dance, holding her as if she were the only thing anchoring him to the world. But even in the heat of this romance, Genoa City never sleeps. Because while Michael and Lauren were lost in their memories, danger brewed elsewhere. Mitch/Matt was still on the run after Victor obliterated his empire with Kane's AI technology, yes, the infamous AI program that seemed capable of destroying half the world's criminals and the reputations of several Genoa City residents, and Sienna, trembling and terrified, insisted that as long as Mitch was alive, Noah and the Newmans were in danger. And in the midst of this chaos, car chases, threats, and ill-advised plans, Noah decided the best way to protect Sienna was to bring her home to Genoa City, guaranteeing that when Mitch resurfaced, he'd be coming straight to them. Which meant, of course, Lauren and Michael's peaceful, dreamy anniversary wouldn't stay peaceful for long. The darkness LeBlanc hinted at might be closer than anyone realized. And then there was the Kane-Lily-Phyllis triangle brewing like a toxic storm cloud over the upcoming Abbott Communications launch party. While Lily declared Phyllis could have Kane, Phyllis demanded that Kane choose, and he did, telling her she was his future, only to immediately start charming Lily again like a man incapable of consistency. And Lauren, who had once lived through her own tangle of complicated loves, would soon find herself pulled into the drama as a friend, a confidant, and a woman who had earned her wisdom the hard way. But all of that was tomorrow's chaos. Tonight was about love. Tonight was about remembering who they were, what they had survived, and how fiercely they still chose each other. As Michael guided Lauren back to the blackjack table for one final hand, he flipped over the last card, the King of Hearts. Attached was a note, 20 years ago, I asked you to gamble on me. Tonight, I gamble again, on 20 more. Lauren covered her mouth, tears spilling as Michael dropped to one knee, not with a ring, but with a golden locket engraved with the date of their wedding. Inside, a tiny chip from the original blackjack table they'd used the night of his proposal. "You're my greatest win," he whispered. "And I'd risk everything, for you." Lauren pulled him up and kissed him, the kind of kiss that spoke of 20 years of triumphs and scars, of nights wondering if their marriage would survive, of mornings waking up grateful that it had. "You already have," she whispered back. They embraced, the camera circling around them as soft music swelled and the lights dimmed to a warm golden glow. But in the final seconds, as the scene faded, the music softened into a darker, more haunting tone, just enough to unsettle the audience, as the camera cut to a shadowed figure watching the rooftop from afar, hinting that the past Michael feared, the darkness Lauren sensed, might be closer than they realized. Their gamble for love wasn't over. It was only beginning. Michael gambles for love, Lauren reacts to hubby's bold move. Michael Baldwin will gamble for love, so Lauren Fenmore Baldwin will react to her hubby's bold move. Tuesday's YNR episode will be a truly special one since it'll be all about celebrating Michael and Lauren's relationship. Lauren and Michael have had their fair share of ups and downs, but they're still together after all these years. That's a big deal on soaps, so it's certainly worth acknowledging Michael and Lauren's major milestone. The show's going to honor Lauren and Michael's 20th wedding anniversary with a standalone episode that's just about the two of them. YNR will offer up plenty of flashbacks to show how Michael and Lauren have stood the test of time. As far as memories go, viewers may see the good, the bad, and the ugly. What matters is that Lauren and Michael are still standing as a married couple. That could change at some point in the future, especially if he crosses one line too many for Victor Newman, but they'll be on cloud nine for now. Michael is obviously a romantic guy who likes to show his appreciation for his lovely wife. That'll certainly be the case on Tuesday's episode since he'll provide a grand gesture that's a blast from the past. Michael proposed to Lauren using a casino theme, so he'll set up a blackjack table for this special occasion. Lauren will be touched over the effort Michael puts into all this, especially when he uses cards to deliver a heartwarming anniversary message. Of course, there'll be some other surprises along the way. Michael will definitely make this an unforgettable evening for Lauren and remind her exactly why she agreed to marry him 2 decades ago. Lauren and Michael will have a dazzling night together, so it sounds like this will be a real treat for fans of the duo. Young and Restless stars warn that a dark place threatens Michael and Lauren as they reach a major marital milestone. Christian LeBlanc and Tracy Bregman are celebrating 20 years of Michael Baldwin and Lauren Fenmore on a special December 9th episode of The Young and the Restless, including fun flashbacks and the actors' commentary on the scenes. So, cue the champagne, cue the nostalgia, and cue the twist that just might blow their love sky high. Both characters have a history of misbehavior over the years in Genoa City, but their redemption arc has evolved into an enduring love story. Still, LeBlanc warns to Soaps.com why their complex and pretty dark histories of their own families could eventually lurk in the shadows and haunt them again, despite their current state of bliss. Bregman doesn't disagree with that sentiment at all either. "We've been the bad characters, and now we're more hero and heroine with an edge," she reminds daytime fans. But the characters could go back bad like that. LeBlanc expands on his beloved co-star's assessment and draws in Michael's perspective into the conversation. "We come from a dark place, and from Michael's point of view, she keeps him sane. So, if you want to make Michael crazy or a serial killer, you take Lauren. If anyone ever hurt her, if she left me," he says. "Those are the things in your character, it's a real hook." Bregman chimes in, "You see the darkness. It would be a dark place. It would be really interesting," LeBlanc concludes. Of course, this week is all about leaning into the sentimentality of Michael and Lauren's romance, and it's exactly where LeBlanc and Bregman want to be right now. "We don't do this alone," LeBlanc says, praising the writers and the Young and Restless creator, the late William J. Bell. "We were given these parts, Bill Bell started it off, and they have built our history step by step." Bregman shares the same sentiment, revealing that Lauren and Michael's magic also extends to their off-screen friendship. "We got very lucky. I got very lucky," she sums up. "I always say I won the co-star lottery, and I think that's what people pick up. There's so much love and respect and fun. With Matt/Mitch on the run, the Newmans still aren't safe, but for the moment, they can breathe a sigh of relief, right? It looks like it's time for the family to leave LA, as teased in the latest Young and Restless promo, but they might be bringing someone with them back to Genoa City. Plus, the big Abbott Communication launch party is coming up, and we can't help but wonder what disaster will unfold at it. But one festive celebration to look forward to this week is Michael and Lauren's big anniversary celebration. In LA, with time to find Sienna and Noah running out, Victor showed up armed with Kane's AI program and decimated Matt's, Shadow Room empire. Yes, apparently the club is a big deal. After a thrilling car chase involving Mitch, Noah, and Sienna, Mitch zoomed off into the night, vowing this wasn't over. Famous last words? Mitch angry YNR. Coming up, Sienna tells Noah and his parents that until Mitch is dead or behind bars, nobody is safe, especially her. That's when Noah comes up with the bright idea that Sienna needs to come to Genoa City with him. Why? For Mitch, who is on the run, to follow. Which woman does Kane want? Well, we knew it was coming. Lily and Phyllis were ready to tear one another to pieces over Kane until the man of the hour stepped in. And while Lily told the redhead she could have Kane, Phyllis told him to pick a side. Kane did, informing Phyllis that Lily is his past, he wants to start fresh, and she is what he sees in his future. Well, maybe? Because coming up, it seems Kane is once again trying to charm his ex-wife. Lily tells Kane that she's taking one for the team and going to the Abbott Communications launch party. Kane suggests they go together. Question, will Phyllis also be there? The night air was thick with the scent of roses and champagne, drifting from the terrace of the Grand Phoenix suite as Michael and Lauren held each other close, their laughter mingling with the soft strains of a jazz piano from somewhere unseen. For a moment, the city of Genoa City receded, and it was just the two of them, two souls who had survived betrayals, near-death experiences, and the chaos of the Baldwin Fenmore families. Yet even as Michael adjusted the locket around Lauren's neck, making sure it sat just right against her heart, a flicker of unease passed between them, subtle, almost imperceptible, but enough that Lauren raised an eyebrow. "Michael," she murmured softly, tracing her fingers along his jawline, "what aren't you telling me tonight?" Her voice, though gentle, carried that edge she had honed over decades, an instinctive radar for trouble, honed from years of surviving in a city where secrets never stayed buried. Michael smiled, a little too quickly, and brushed a hand through his hair, his eyes darkening slightly. "Nothing, Lauren. Tonight, it's only about us. Our 20 years. Our victory." But the hesitation lingered, just long enough for Lauren to sense that his mind was elsewhere. She didn't press, because if anyone understood Michael, she knew that pressing too hard might make him retreat into the very darkness he fought to keep at bay. And yet, Genoa City had a way of reminding even the strongest couples that no moment of peace lasted. Across town, a black SUV idled under the shadow of a street lamp, engine humming quietly. Inside, a figure observed the Grand Phoenix from a distance. A man whose vendettas were as precise as they were dangerous, whose intelligence made him nearly invisible, and whose anger toward Michael Baldwin had not diminished over the years. Mitch. Matt. Call him what you will, but the threat he posed was real, and though Michael and Lauren were wrapped in their celebration, a storm was brewing just beyond the glow of their rooftop sanctuary. Back inside, Michael poured Lauren a glass of champagne, the bubbles catching the light like little diamonds dancing in crystal. "To 20 years of surviving each other," he said with a wink, though the tremor in his hand betrayed nerves he refused to admit. Lauren laughed, reaching out to clink her glass against his. "Surviving with each other," she corrected, eyes softening. "I've loved you through every terrible haircut, every courtroom meltdown, and every ridiculous prank you've pulled." Michael grinned. "And I've loved you through every fashion emergency, every scandal at Fenmore's, and every time you've saved me from myself." Their laughter echoed in the suite, a warm, comforting sound that reminded both of them why they had chosen to stay, to fight, and to believe in each other despite everything. As the evening continued, Michael led Lauren to the blackjack table, where a new surprise awaited. The table, now cleared of chips and cards, had a single envelope sitting in the center, addressed in Michael's precise handwriting. Lauren picked it up, curiosity piqued. Inside was a note: "Every marriage is a gamble. But with you, I'd bet everything and still come out winning." Lauren's eyes glistened with tears, but before she could speak, Michael's phone buzzed, a soft, urgent vibration that neither of them had expected. He glanced down at the screen and stiffened, the warm glow of romance momentarily replaced with a shadow of tension. It's work," he muttered, though the look in his eyes suggested something far more ominous. Lauren studied him, sensing the change immediately. "Michael," she said softly, placing her hand over his, "you can tell me anything. You know that, right?" Michael nodded, swallowing hard. "I know. It's just, there's a situation with Victor. Nothing immediate, but I might need to step out for a minute." Lauren frowned, worried. Victor Newman's presence in Genoa City was always a harbinger of trouble, and with Mitch on the run, she knew the tension was far from over. "Be careful," she urged, her voice trembling slightly. "Promise me you won't do anything reckless tonight. This is our night, Michael. Our anniversary." But Michael Baldwin wasn't a man known for restraint, especially when love, loyalty, or vengeance were at stake. He kissed Lauren's forehead, lingering just long enough to reassure her, before slipping out of the suite. Down in the lobby, the atmosphere shifted almost immediately, the bright lights and festive decorations giving way to shadows and quiet corners where deals, threats, and chaos were never far away. And there, in the shadows, Mitch waited, impatient and furious, a plan forming in his mind that could ruin everything Michael and Lauren had built. Meanwhile, back at the suite, Lauren busied herself with the remaining anniversary surprises Michael had prepared. A small table held a spread of their favorite foods, candles flickering softly, and a slideshow began playing on the wall, filled with snapshots of 2 decades together, their wedding day, trips to New York, family holidays, even quiet moments captured on film when the chaos of the world faded away and it was just the two of them. She left, she cried, she remembered, and she felt grateful, for the man who had never stopped believing in her, for the love that had survived storms others would have crumbled under, and for the life they had built together. But just as she reached for her champagne glass again, a soft knock echoed through the suite. Her heart skipped a beat. She wasn't expecting anyone. "Who is it?" she called out. No answer. She frowned, taking a cautious step toward the door. Slowly, she opened it, and for a fleeting moment, relief flooded her. It was Kane Ashby, looking handsome as ever, a bouquet of flowers in hand. "Happy anniversary," he said, a small, warm smile on his lips. "Lauren, I know this isn't my place, but I couldn't let the day go by without saying, well, without saying that you deserve all the happiness in the world." Lauren blinked, surprised but touched. "Thank you, Kane," she said softly, taking the flowers. "That's very kind." Kane lingered for a moment, the weight of his past with both Phyllis and Lily behind him, before excusing himself with a nod. Lauren closed the door, setting the flowers down, but the encounter left her with a subtle reminder of just how intertwined the lives in Genoa City were, how love, betrayal, and complicated histories were never far from the surface. Up on the rooftop, Michael returned, leaning against the railing, watching the city lights sparkle below. Lauren joined him silently, wrapping an arm around his waist.